Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher. And man, I really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to watch the video and spend some time with me today. Very grateful for that. And guys, today we are going to be talking about fishing a variety of lures with a spinning rod. A lot of people don't think that a lot of the lure categories you can fish them on a spinning rod. But guys, I'm getting where more and more I use so many different type of lures with a spinning rod, and the efficiency and the ability to make better casts is so much greater with certain lures out there. That's sort of what I wanted to do in today's video. Is I want to talk about all the different lures that I do fish with the spinning outfit, and sort of talk to you guys a little bit about the advantage of using one. So we're going to get in that in today's video. Also, guys, just a quick invitation out there. I'd like to invite everybody to please check out our Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns. You guys hear me talking about this. We got our fall maps up on the website right now. Great resources to learn more about your favorite lakes. So I'll put the Fish the Moment lake map breakdown in the link in this description. Really appreciate that. Okay, spinning rods, guys. It used to be not too many years ago that the only time people used a spinning outfit was for finesse fishing, like drop shotting, shaky heads, you know, that type of deal. And it's gotten to be really the last couple of years, I've started using this for a wide range of lure categories. And I want to talk a little bit about that in today's video. So first of all, let's talk about the spinning rod and the setup that allows you to be the most versatile. Now guys, if you could get one rod that allows you to do everything that I'm going to talk about today, and you don't want to spend a lot, you know, and buy a bunch of different spinning rods, check this. This is the megabass whip snake. I'll put the megabass spinning rod link in my tackle warehouse link in the description of this video, if you guys can check that out. And I'll put in the spinning rod link, check out the 6 foot 11 inch model, which is the Levante, and it comes in a lot of different models that megabass makes it. But the 6 foot 11 inch medium action spinning rod is the one that you want, because it allows you to do a lot of different things with it. And I usually couple it up on a large 3000 series spool spinning reel. I'll link that in the description too. Seaguar and Vizex Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon line, straight fluorocarbon on all the setups that I'm going to talk about here. So first of all, let's talk about the crankbaits, guys. Crankbaits are a great lure to fish on a spinning rod. A lot of people don't do it. They just think that a spinning rod is basically made for a bait caster. But here's the advantages you have with a spinning rod on a crankbait. Number one is you can throw smaller crankbaits. A lot of those crankbaits, if you talk about the smaller finesse type crankbaits that weigh like less than 1/4 of an ounce, when you cast them, a lot of times, it's sort of like a jerkbait we'll talk about here, that they catch the wind and they sort of sail through the air like a potato chip. There's not much weight behind them. So if you're trying to fish a small crankbait on a bait caster, say with 12 or 15 pound test line, you're going to be very limited, not only in the distance that you have, but the casting accuracy. The smaller the crankbait, the more difficult it is to cast accurately with a bait cast outfit. And you simply can't use those light lines. So I will use a lot of different crankbaits, like this Megabass Super Z2 you guys hear me talking about a lot. Usually with anywhere between 6 to 10 pound test for a fluorocarbon line. And that allows me to cast this bait. Guys, I can promise you I can cast that little crankbait or any other little crankbait twice as far as you can with a bait caster, by far. You just don't have the resistance, comes off the spool really nice. And there's a couple different advantages to that. Number one, by making the longer cast out there, you're getting that lure further away from the fish, which increases your chances of catching the fish. And number two is you get the bait down deeper, because the ability to get extra depth out of the lure is on two factors. It's the length of your cast and it's the line test. A lot of people think it's just the line test, which that's part of it, but the distance of your cast has a big part of it. Because guys, if you troll a lure, you can take a lure that would run 4 to 6 foot deep just on a normal length of a cast, and if you troll it behind a boat, it'll get down there twice as deep. So that is a big factor as far as being able to get those little crankbaits down, deeper than a lot of people throw them. Another thing that I throw a bunch on with a spinning rod, you guys, in fact, not a bunch, that's all I do, 99% of the time, is a jerkbait. A jerkbait is the best thing to use. A spinning rod is the best thing to use on a jerkbait, because the same reasons. You get further cast, you can get the bait deeper, but most importantly is on a spinning rod, guys, you have more feel on the rod, simply because the way the line comes through the guides being on the bottom, and you can manipulate that jerkbait better, and you can put more precise movements and twitches on it. that you simply can't duplicate with the bait caster. So I would suggest going to 100%, not 100%, but 99% of your jerkbait fishing with a spinning rod. The only 1% that I don't use a spinning rod for a jerkbait is if I'm using a big jerkbait, like one of those 7-inch longs, like the Canada megabass, something like that. That's a little bit too heavy with it. Another thing I use a spinning rod a lot of people don't, is a small buzz bait, like a little 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce buzz bait. A little light buzz bait is just like the crankbait. It catches a lot of wind. You can't cast it very far or accurately with a bait caster. And you can take, this is one situation I do use straight braided line. I'll usually take like 20-pound test Seagar Smackdown braid, and I'll put it on like a little 1/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce buzz bait, and you can throw that thing anywhere you want to throw it. And when you set the hook on it, you don't have any stretch, with the braided line, which is really good for that particular type of topwater situation. Another thing I throw a spinning rod a lot with, or not a lot, but all the time with, is a floating worm. Most people I see throwing a floating worm, they throw it with a bait caster. That's the worst choice you can possibly make with the floating worm, because again, floating worms don't weigh very much. Spinning rod allows you to make further and more accurate casts with that. But the main thing with it, guys, when you're talking about using a spinning rod and going to that, don't think in terms of the lure category. Think in terms of maximizing your efficiency by using the spinning tackle. And that efficiency is magnified by a spinning outfit because of those properties I've talked about. You can cast further, you can get the bait down deeper, and you can put better action on a lure. Actually, a spinning rod, if you can get by with it, it is the best tool to use for bass fishing, simply because of all those qualities. The only time that I use a bait caster, guys, is if I'm fishing a heavier lure, something that weighs like, over 3/8 of an ounce or over, and something that if I'm fishing around heavy cover, I got to put thicker line on to get the fish away from that heavy cover. But I would say during the course of my entire fishing season, out of a 1 year period of fishing season, I've got a spinning rod in my hand probably about 50 to 60% of the time. It's at least half of the time that I'm out there with all the lures I'm talking about. I still fish all the finessey stuff, my shaky heads, Ned rigs, small jigs, all that type of stuff, weightless stuff, wacky rigs, all on spinning outfit. But I also use all my jerk baits, a lot of my crankbaits, again, small buzz bait, sometimes even small spinner bait with it, little swim baits sometimes. I just love fishing it, and that's how I started. So anyway, guys, try to get comfortable with it. A lot of guys aren't comfortable with the spinning rod as much as they are bait caster, but once you get comfortable with it, you're gonna find out it's just such a better tool for most fishing situations. So anyway, guys, I'll link all the stuff in my Tackle Warehouse link. If you guys wanna get set up with all this, I'll put everything that I suggest in there. And I hope it helps you guys catch a few more fish. So we'll talk later.